Mario Kart Wii is one of the most iconic racing games ever made, largely due to its complete lack of balance in kart and item wise. However, Wii has one of the greatest track lineups the Mario Kart series has ever seen, and I'm gonna rank all of them. This was actually really difficult as Wii is full of absolute slappers. Also, this ranking is based on the enjoyability of racing on each of the tracks. If the visuals and music make an impact on that, they will be factored, but ultra shortcuts will not be taken into account. Enough of me yapping, let's get into the ranking. Coming in last place is Lightning Cup's resident disappointment, Mario Circuit 3. They picked this for the last Retro Cup? I mean, come on, it's so barren. There's nothing of interest here. You have the mushroom shortcut halfway through, I guess. There's also a single boost pad at the end. Still, nothing to trick off, no obstacles. Very, very boring track. Yoshi Falls is a very basic track, albeit with a few unique environmental factors like the waterfalls. However, at least with Mario Circuit 3 it had some turns involved. Yoshi Falls is virtually a circle. It places 31st only because it looks more interesting and actually has somewhere to trick. But can I just say, why this track? There were so many better ones to pick in DS, like Airship Fortress and Waluigi Pinball. Absolute shame this was the one that was chosen for Wii. Oh well. Mario Kart and Ice tracks don't have great history, and Sherbet Land is not helping. The only mildly enjoyable part of the track is when you're in the cave and there aren't any ice physics. When you're out and about, the slippy ice makes for awful gameplay. The penguins are sort of amusing as obstacles, I suppose. Like I said in the intro, ultra shortcuts aren't factored, but this track does have a pretty cool one. Overall, the actual track itself, boring and not fun to control. Desert Hills is a pretty innocent track. It has some interesting features like increasing difficulty throughout each lap with more fire snakes being added by the angry sun. However, that's about it. The Pokies never cover the best line, so they don't even pose an issue. It's a simple track, and the ending has some U-turns. I don't actively dislike the track, it's just sort of there. I'm not going to be too harsh on Luigi Circuit because it's track 1 of the Mushroom Cup. It's going to be basic and very accessible. However, the reason it places higher than the tracks it did is mainly because of the mushroom shortcut at the end. It's not the easiest thing to do, and adds an element of skill for players coming back to the track despite being skilled. Decent enough track, and it does its job as being accessible. Mario Raceway is yet another course that doesn't do anything wrong, it's just basic. Similar to Luigi Circuit, there are some interesting mushroom shortcuts you can take. This is actually the first course on the list to have more than one spot the trick per lap. Nothing about the course particularly sticks out though, it's just another filler retro track. Although the world record is held by the Dolphin Dasher, which is fascinating. Wii Mario Circuit is essentially a figure 8 with a cool ass ramp to take if you have a mushroom, or a chain jump to dodge if you don't. About as basic as you can get with a traditional racer, but Mario Kart sprinkles some magic in to make things a little bit more interesting. The Goombas on occasion can mess you up, just another harmless track. Moo Moo Meadows is likely the second course players visit, and it's a worthy step up from Luigi Circuit. Opportunities to trick are more common and easier to access, and the track layout remains simple. The cows can prove a serious issue if you reach them in an awkward time. For a second course, it has enough space to keep players engaged. Decent track, but likely would have been forgotten if not remade in base game 8. Shy Guy Beach is the track I am personally the worst at in this entire game. The water that slows you down, obnoxious crabs, and aggressive cannonballs that explode like bombs make this track deceptively difficult. However, it is a GBA track, so the layout is very basic. Small ramps give the opportunity to trick, and the grassy patches at the end are a good use for a mushroom. Ghost Valley 2 was a track that I actually really enjoyed, but after replaying it with my mate Tom, check both his channels out, he's a legend, I realised that the track is quite shallow. The repurposed feather shortcut now being a trick ramp is a nice change, but other than that, the track isn't great. It ranks as high for theming alone, as I do like a good ghost theme level. And we're back to a Mario themed course. The GameCube Mario Circuit is better than its Wii counterpart in my opinion, mainly because the course design is a bit more complex here. The mushroom shortcut past the chain chomp can be a little bit difficult to pull off, as you need a hop before your boost runs out to dodge the off-road, since the stretch of grass is just too long to dodge. The bridge and bumps near the end now being triggerable adds a nice ending to the course. Overall, it's okay. Peach Beach is your average beach level. While being significantly easier than Shy Guy Beach, the variant tile allows you to risk cutting straight through the middle without slowing down, and risk being hindered by the incoming water. The double dash shortcut, I say with heavy air quotes, has been removed. I completely understand why, as that was less about saving time and more about getting a double item box. They don't exist in Wii, so they took the pipe out. The Kart Quacks rarely get you, but when they do, you lose a massive amount of time. Peach Beach is an alright course with a bit of risk and reward. Some people really love this course, and I'm just not one of them. Wario's Goldmine definitely has some redeeming aspects, like the premise. It's a fantastic idea for a course. The minecarts can also block you from accessing the second path near the end of the course, which I think is good. The hazard in the track makes a bigger impact than most in the game. However, it has half pipes which serve no purpose, and the parts where you go straight down then back up try and add flair, but just fail. It's another fine track, but could be developed to be more. DK Jungle Parkway may as well be another ice level with its slippy physics on the main road. It's not nearly as overbearing as Sherbet Land though. Unlike the N64 version, you don't have objects thrown at you when you go off-road, and that's a change I'm honestly indifferent about. I will say that not being able to trick off the big ass ramp makes no sense and is very underwhelming. Definitely the weakest of the 3 DK themed tracks in the game, but it's alright. Daisy Circuit is the highest ranking circuit track in this list, and for good reason. It's quite simplistic, but the cones around the track obstruct what would otherwise be ideal lines to take. The mushroom shortcut is also very satisfying to take, and the big Daisy and Luigi statues provide some personality to the course. The elevated paths are great places to go to avoid stray green shells, but also a good place to lay some items of your own, meaning using them is entirely situational, and that's good design. Very strong track. Delfino Square was one of DS's standout Nitro tracks, and while not retaining its status as one of the best, I can say that the track is serviceable. The unique setting is heightened by the Wii's better graphics, and the sharp turns littered throughout the track feel great with the bikes. If anything, this course's placement just goes to show how great Wii's Nitro tracks are. Grumble Volcano is what I would call the first definitively great track in this game. It takes a dynamic track feature from Desert Hills and designs the entire course around it. Each lap it gets more and more hazardous, with more fire snakes appearing and the marked areas falling apart over time. By lap 3 it can be even difficult to navigate. It also has one of the most badass shortcuts in the game. Despite being the weakest track in the Star Cup, it's by no means bad. N64 Bowser's Castle has some iconic imagery synonymous with modern Bowser castles, like thwomps and the trademark giant Bowser statue. The turns are unforgiving, hazards dangerous, and the layout thrilling. I really enjoyed this track, but it really can't hold up against some of the later tracks on the list. Definitely something I pick from time to time though. DK Mountain is a very fun track. The start has some good mushroom potential, the cannon is a cool set piece, and the drive down the mountain is fantastic for tricking. Although I do wish you tricked off the mountain and terrain instead of the ramps. Near the end, you have the gap shortcut that's satisfying to take, then the infamous bridge. While it was worse than Double Dash, crossing this thing makes you a red shell magnet. Makes with some fantastic race endings. Great course. Remember Toad's Turnpike? That track that was kinda hard on mirror mode in 64? Yeah, imagine that on speed, meth, crack, and a copious amount of steroids. This track does not mess around, as it should, because this is a special cup course. There is some risk reward though. Taking the fastest lines means facing the cars head on, or you can opt for a safer route. It's good design. The only complaint I have for the course is that the mushroom cars don't make a return from Double Dash. What a glow up from Double Dash. Waluigi Stadium feels like a Wii Nitro course. The design is perfect for a game that now is tricking. It's very satisfying to launch off the ramps and do a badass animation rather than just waiting. The zippers add a bit more depth to the race, as you can choose to get an item or not. In the Piranha Plant section, I do feel like they take away a bit from the original design in Double Dash though, as drifting around them was quite fun. Overall, this is a perfect template of how a retro course should be designed. It implements Wii's gimmicks into all the course seamlessly. Peach Gardens is another retro track done justice on Wii, except this is less tracks and a lot more lines. This track has a lot of micro adjustments to keep wheeling, and it's very entertaining to drive on. I think the current world record for the course doesn't even have a single mini turbo, which is quite funny considering this is a DS course. Anyway, the central garden can be very chaotic with traps spread about, so your path may change each lap. That's not even mentioning the chain chomps. You'll not see in this footage as it's a time trial, but the chain chomps retain their item boxes, which is a great touch of risk reward. A very solid recreation of the DS standout. Starting off the top 10 is Cooper Cape. Some people really love this track, and while I can't say it's one of my personal favourites, placing it lower than this would be a disservice to the course's consistently fun design. The constant element of water streams being beneficial encourages a condensed area of driving, therefore making perfect spots for traps and wheelie bumping. The ending section might be my favourite visual set piece in the whole game. Seeing the underwater enemies from the platforming games is really cool. The even tighter water stream inside the tunnel with hazards that now shrink you, plaguing your path makes it a really interesting ending. Great course overall. Wii Bowser's Castle is a fantastic display of everything you've been shown by this game. The hazards are dangerous, tricks are plenty, and the layout is complex as far as Mario Kart goes. It also has a cool ass shortcut, but Christ, it's not easy. Anyway, this track has some awesome set pieces like the big Bowser statue shooting fireballs at you, which you dodge head on or take the zippers to dodge. It's not the best Bowser Castle ever made, but it's a fun time. Yep, it's me, editing. I may have forgot to record the audio for DK Snowboard Cross because I'm a fucking idiot, so we'll go unscripted for this one. The cannon is cool, it's fun to trick on everything, and the double gap cut is pretty fun. Overall, course is pretty decent, and I wish I remembered to actually script it, so I would have actually been able to give it a proper overview, so apologies for that, but yeah, quality track, and I pick it a lot when I play with my friends. Thank you, goodbye. Big Mushy George is one of Mario Kart Wii's most janky tracks, but that is by no means indicative of its quality. The mushroom bouncing gimmick is very enjoyable when it doesn't bug out, and the gap cut at the end of the course makes for close finishes. The track is iconic for a reason, so iconic it was brought back in the very next game, but the 7 version isn't as good as the Wii one, mainly because 7 is kinda ass, not even gonna lie. But anyway, Mushroom Gorge is a pretty good track. If bias was the only factor for this list, this track would be number 1. I love Bowser Castle 3. The layout is simple and flat, but this is a remake of a GBA course, so that's to be expected. The turns are sharp and the thwomps are plenty. Not to mention, it is my favourite shortcut in the entire game. I feel like in any other game, this track would be nowhere near as good as it is, but Wii's inside turning bikes and wheeling keep the track engaging as you struggle to keep the tightest lines possible without bumping. Coconut Mall might have the most famous soundtrack out of any Mario Kart course, maybe second to Waluigi Pinball, but it's also not far from being the best course in Wii. No one dislikes this course. The switching escalators can catch you off guard and slow you right down, but it also uniquely has a shortcut designed for both single and triple mushrooms, as well as big ass ramps. Everything that goes into a quality Mario Kart Wii track is here. The ending has a little bit of RNG depending on if you get a good cycle, but what Mario game doesn't have luck involved? Quality track. Maple Tree Way is an extremely enjoyable race from start to finish. The opening cannon takes you to some sharp U-turns that can easily see you flying off if an item comes at the wrong time. The bushes are a unique risk reward in that they can contain bananas and spin you out, or mushrooms, sometimes even a star. And who can forget the Jack-Off Bridge?
Oh, here we go! Come on! Come on! Come on! Yeah, there we go!
This track is jam-packed with content and enjoyable design, an all-time classic. I don't know what inspired Nintendo to put 2 absolute slappers in the Mushroom Cup of all things, but I'm not complaining. Toad's Factory is a triple threat with its banger soundtrack, Unique course idea, with it being where item boxes are made, and great course design. The conveyor belts are another great example of risk reward and perfect spots to lay a fake item box or something similar. And the jump at the end followed by the potential lake jump is an exciting ending. The 2 excavator section is probably the weakest part of the track, but it's not bad. A shockingly active track for the Mushroom Cup and sadly one that is yet to be remade. Hopefully it's a retro course in Mario Kart 9 when that comes out in 2042. Finally, the Mario Kart franchise has an S tier desert rep. Dry Ruins proves desert courses don't have to be mid. The way the course dynamically changes each lap makes the entire race feel fresh. More opportunities to trick a rise with each pillar fallen, but at the same time more pokies enter the track as well as the central section in the ruins becoming harder to take each lap. Loading into the special cup to this banger is an absolute joy, a fantastic course all around. But come on, let's not kid ourselves, it doesn't really have a chance against number 1. The culmination of this game is also its best track. What doesn't Rainbow Road have? A few Mario Galaxy references? That's really about it. Everything about this track is absolutely amazing. The music, the visuals, the course design, you have places to trick everywhere, boosters all over the place, and most importantly, plenty of places to fall off. This track is unforgiving. No other track could place number 1 in my opinion. It's an absolute classic and I'm ecstatic to see it in Wave 6 of the Booster Course Pass, along with 3DS's, that one's also a slapper. So that was my list. Feel free to absolutely flame me for it in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoy getting to replay every single track for footage. Please let me know if you want to see more Mario Kart content, as it might be a fun thing to do with all the boys. Thanks for watching and I'll hopefully see you next time.